T side has a lot of questions to answer.
Complexity are just freezing early on. They want to let FURIA aggress into them, and Fallen has to try and recover what Cello's lost. That's his life. Guess what? It's another one forfeited. And if you were looking at Elige to see which Elige would show up, well, it's a pretty good start.
It's a nice way to sort of pull that into question. I mean, you want Elige to perform, you want Quesarado to perform, and right now Elige finding those 2 entries, it makes FURIA very uncomfortable. In fact, Elige not just finished, not just content with 2. A third found as Art tried to hold on to the long side of the A attack, but this round is pretty well cooked. These 2 remaining players here on FURIA stuck on B. And I don't think they want to gamble. They want to try and even chance it. They're hightailing it out of there. A very clean pistol from Complexity. It's all Elige.
FURIA had a plan, and then they met the big bald man. Elige has been taking a shine to the world. I'm telling you, Michael, it's all about losing the hair. That's what gives you the game. Of course, he's had it historically for a very long time as well. Elige, a man who has been present at every major since he first showed up, save 1. Krakow in 2017 being the only exception. Quesarado falls as well over here. Complexity, very good start to things.
But in terms of actually winning major titles, something that's actually escaped Elige, even with all those attendances.
Point to keep in mind, Quesarado with the re-smoke out on the monster as well. Elige is good for the first, but the flashbang gives Quesarado blind. Good for the quick double. Can he switch out for the AKA? No, just the Galil found. Elige, in the meanwhile, still locked out of the B-bomb site. Short was mollied. This is where Quesarado needs to find more, and indeed he does. Both him and Fallen coming alive, and Complexity have walked into a trap. Elige the only one to find frags, but he will not find the round.
I mean, right now, it does feel like we're getting the battle of the 2 titans. It's Elige and Quesarado that deliver on rounds for each of their respective teams. It was Elige in the pistol, but on the answer, on the force buy.
Quite a hotbed of utility as well. Yuri started off this tournament with a fiery performance on his own. On Inferno versus the Nouns, and now this is a great start to things. Long range with the AUG, flashes being dodged, and largely irrelevant because of the distance. Yuri and Quesarado are kicking things off, and Yuri almost getting the full ace. Grim denies, but it's 499 damage. You might as well give it to him.
Yeah, 1 health on Grim, and Yuri was fighting by his lonesome. Finally finished off by Quesarado, this tag team. If the A-bomb side is off limits because Yuri's there, and the B-bomb side is... They're talking about on the desk, there's very limited demo work to look back on FURIA, and so they won't be ready for plays like that. A triple boost in from Graffiti, JT blissfully unaware.
You have to love the fact that FURIA is just pulling up. He's given away his position. They might realize there's a man near flower pots. At least the audio cue should give it away. Holzer's found Yuri in the meanwhile. Nading opened the smoke, and he continues forward. Fallen found out. Quesarado covers him off and gives them the advantage again. 3 versus 1. Elige unable to find contact. And for now, unable to find the bomb as well. Time ticking down low. A player's moved up close and personal. It's Art. Elige doesn't spot out the foot in time. Art will overrun him. 4-1. FURIA looking unstoppable. Doesn't know that Yuri is nearby, and the flash is good, but Yuri doesn't peek behind it. Is there a second one to fly through? Yuri's being spammed. Holzer will find him as well. Yuri might regret not peeking out earlier on, but Fallen is here to quickly salvage the situation. Quesarado's fast rotate as well as Fallen's fast opping. The A site impenetrable.
As well, battles them back off of this A play. Quesarado right behind him to help sweep. These players on Complexity, they move in with a half-buy, but they're wounded, they're weakened. Floppy trying to lead in, but there's Cello to chew them up from short. Cello not done with just 2. It's Art right behind him, and it's all 4 for Cello on the B hold. FURIA cannot be moved. They act with that element of surprise. Big boost up here for Elige, but Yuri, around the corner, Elige just too sharp.
Nade's also very good. Quesarado's gone, and Elige, that's a double kill. And you're looking for that mid-round presence that he can offer. Floppy still holding things down on the lurk back towards the B-bomb site. Holzer spots out the ship. And Art goes down. Cello, the chance now to succeed where everyone else has failed. Good for that first. He notices Floppy as well, rounding the corner, but the shadow of Holzer doesn't matter. Fallen covers off Floppy on the side. He's in a 1v3, closing the distance to the bomb. Time ticking down low. Their Deck 9 striking through, but Fallen can't do it all on his own. Fallen gets these. Surely he gets these. No, misses it. Yuri as well. Misses his chance, and now no flashes to help. Fallen is down. JT breaks his first and second blood. The flashbang is fantastic, but Keserato is just better. 2 frags delivered. Back to a 2-on-2. Cello and Art trying to accelerate. The bomb being planted is their point to commit, but they don't do so. The Molotov is late, and the spam right back weakens Cello. Holzer missing a crucial shot, but a deep nade will help soften things up for Elige. He knows where the last player is as well, but a quick adjustment from Cello won't be enough. Holzer brings it all back, but my God, that round should not have been so close.
He might have for FURIA. In fact, they still run with some in reserve, even moving past into another full buy. Grim weakened up by the nade, and he still peeks into it.
If you are the T side. Cello. Molotov will not be deployed in time. He'll have to do this old-fashioned. It goes right past him. Floppy closes the distance. Cello should be a dead man, but he's ducked all the way down. Nothing working out for Cello. Rather, against Cello. JT as well falls in the meanwhile. They simply cannot scale onto this B site. Holzer and Elige all alone, and now Holzer, a man who's been asked to clutch many times across this tournament, but that's just impossible.
4th round would go a long way, that's for sure, but no guarantees, especially on a pretty cobbled together buy. ODDIK of JT meets Yuri on that AUG, but he'll hear steps right behind him and does get floored finally by one of the ODDIKs on Complexity.
Rotation's over. They are so confident in Cello's ability to hold that bomb site. They can stack 3 players here on A. Deep Molotov gives Fallen space to set up, but Elige now anticipates. He knows their tendency. They're watching out for Art's push as well. Keserato, can you line up 3? You can't even get 1 in that position. Cello now on the rotate, given a chance to shine, but I don't know if he can really hold a candle up to this 1v4. Complexity collect on that 4th round, but truly a difficult half for them. Scubs, they looked so good and so heavily behind Grim and Floppy. You need that activation, and JT takes down Cello early on. Elige found out, and it feels like with the raid boss gone, a reroute back to A might be a priority for FURIA.
Yeah, it's a big head to find. Art as well boosting himself up, but leaves himself vulnerable. Floppy picking him up above that smoke. And Holzer trying to lock them in topside connector. And he does have a nice fallback path should he spot a player. Yeah, just sees the shoulder and decides to give it up. That was the bomb that was spotted, but not enough skin showing. I don't think that the radar would have shown that to him. They're going to stick 2 and 2 here on the side of Complexity. They do have a Molotov, a flashbang, and a smoke available here for FURIA to crack into this site, but do they know that there's a flank being engaged here by Holzer?
I love the push from him. Sets him up for success very nicely, but Yuri could also catch a timing. Yuri instead catches a bullet. Keserato and Fallen. So much success found between these 2 players on that CT side, and Fallen looks to respond on a player who has not retreated. Holzer decides he wants to stay and fight. And now with more rotations coming over, Grim is the one to reinforce the A bomb site. Fallen trying to close the distance, looks for any duels he can take, planting inside the smoke. It's a bold choice, but Keserato can cover off with some great damage found. They know where Holzer is as well, but they're just not ready.
On that pistol.
Holzer, early tag, but he trades it out with a ding to his head as well. That's not going to be particularly conducive. Holzer now falls. Elige fades away. His teammate might be regretting the fact that he maintained position for so long.
Yeah, FURIA didn't actually buy up. You know, they just went in with this one AK, a couple of upgraded pistols, and they were hoping that Cello could maybe pry bar in, but now that AK has changed hands.
You really do wish it would be in Keserato, so even damage is fantastic at this stage. CT side money. Mentioned it before. All you need to do is just try and pin it into an impossible circumstance. Art moves away from the flashbang. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. Quesarado still committed here onto the A-bomb site. Knows he just needs to find one kill to make this somewhat possible to threaten the rotate, see if anyone can move off with the site, anything like it, but no. No kills found. Elimination will... If Complexity can re-smoke this, it feels like you're setting up HallZerg for perfection, and indeed, bomb's been dropped and FURIA are completely split up across the map. Floppy finds another for free, and Elimination makes quick work of any lurkers. Fallen, who've been saving up for the AWP.
Core did feel like he was taking a lot more risks, taking a lot more fights, willing to sort of dictate how he approached rounds. But as time went on...
Not very often you see a successful spam back with the Eagle, but Elimination has now got successful timing on the ground, and also can try and move forward to recover that later on.
It's a two-man band on Complexity.
Take it. And I do also wonder what the thought process is when you're deciding which site you're going to die on. Quesarado will fall to JT. Do you want to reinforce an already fiery Elimination? I think now they also have the call. Now they do for sure, but HallZerg peeks too wide out. Elimination dodges a flash. Will he be checked? Lazily done from Cello, and he is punished for it. The bomb down and the rotation's called. Grim good for one. Does he realize there's a second? No. Fallen can trade. 20 seconds on the clock, and JT and Floppy push through. A smoke to extinguish the flames, but JT has been extinguished himself. Floppy
made it very difficult for Elimination to move in immediately for the trade onto HallZerg. You're trapped in an...
If they keep trying to jiggle out the angle, it does feel like you're inviting death onto yourself. HallZerg even given the warning shot out, but Elimination just caught in the open. Art to trade. Meanwhile, what's coming into the B-bomb site? JT surely has made that call. The rotation's coming over. Floppy needs to find the frag, but the scope on the other side will not matter. Floppy wins regardless, and JT is doubled up. A deep nade, and Art won't be able to trace out JT accurately so. Time's run out, and all he can do is look to save the AWP, despite an early kill onto that raid boss. FURIA is catching on to that as well. Yuri waiting. Elimination loves to go for this. Elimination loves to push all the way through, but now teams are expecting it, and he will not be defined by expectations. It will be big. For FURIA to broach this bomb site, they have to go past multiple riflers, a Molotov, a flash, maybe even a smoke on the site itself. And as they start to creep forward, Floppy cannot greet them with a kill. It's JT instead to frag, and Elimination finds Yuri in the battle of patience. FURIA has lost in that one fight, and it feels like they've lost this one round as well. Complexity continue to stay as even as they can.
And because they kept waiting for so long on FURIA, it's that time that works against them. Elimination was still inside of the connector, inside of those steps. He heard that rotate back, full and asking for the utility there for Yuri, left on the lurk. And because of that, HallZerg started gravitating over as well. Complexity had a very solid read as to what was going to happen. Inside that connector as well, but there's so much presence being thrown his way. JT calling Grim over. They're prepared for a double swing, a fight in towards short, and this might be at a timing that they don't expect. Art drops his guard. Yuri inside of that connector cannot swing, even though that door is blown wide open, and a Molotov that greets Quesarado. They heard that singular singe as well. They'll know that there's players right behind that. Elimination re-aggressing, but there's Yuri, a patient man. And they swing right into Monster. The flash was good, but Quesarado still able to adjust, and Cello right behind him. It's Grim left alone on the site. HallZerg coming in to reinforce, but he'll be late, and Grim has to perform. The first kill there, but the trade from Quesarado, immaculate. Blowing that smoke open, HallZerg fine, but he's caught right through it. It's Quesarado with 3 for finally a FURIA round once again. And if he has a round, you just know that's going to lift the spirits here of Complexity. It's a big ask for the man with all that experience, all those major attendances.
Surely he can't get it. Surely not. Fallen will take him down. Eliminates that one. The trigger pulled. 20 seconds are all that remain, and there's 4 players who have to go through. Blinded, sure, but Floppy's going to have the advantage over here. JT and HallZerg take them down. JT is fighting. 8 seconds on the clock. They can't get the defuse down. You can see the CT's retreat. HallZerg realizes, but Fallen will clutch the bomb in time. HallZerg now has to come back into the site. And despite the dangerous bells of clocks timing and chiming, but he's been the difference maker for FURIA to find themselves at such a comfortable position where they have that 2-round lead. where Complexity has that deficit in utility despite it being a buy, and Holzerk has lost his life early of rolling this boulder back up the hill again and again and again. Cello nearby, Elise got off, but he still adjusts for the headshot. An effort you have to appreciate, but it's not about appreciation. It's about finishing, and FURIA is looking to do just that.
And it's these two stars that you want to see big here on Complexity that are also going to meet the same struggles. Two remain here for Complexity, and that AWP of JT will be empty-handed. Floppy trying his damnedest. He's doing a whole lot of damage, but FURIA take Complexity's pick, 13-10. This is looking good for FURIA, but there were some major stumbles this map.
And he needs to put up a show.
Elish is hunting for information down ramp, though. It's just going to be too late by the time they realize. Floppy face-checking it, and Art immediately floors him. This is the problem with only having one player on that B site, is that you're going to be left very vulnerable if Floppy ends up empty-handed, but they will have a flank, and Elish will catch Keserato.
Still need Grim to start putting up some numbers. He's not quite able to find anyone. Holzer goes down inside the smoke, and Grim is just waiting for it to dissipate. Elish's flank that was so long in the making might end up finding nothing. Grim falls. Yuri continues forward. His tirade of frags with the AUG in the early portions of Overpass were what gave FURIA that beginning. And they were able to propel forward with, run away with, despite Complexity chasing on their heels. Now maybe FURIA can do the same. Start off strong.
Yeah, it was a four-man A start there from Complexity. Some good damage being done here by Elish towards the tail end of things, where he took some damage himself. Well, they're starting to creep their way up towards A as well, all the meanwhile.
But Complexity are expecting this. Complexity are calling for rotations over. JT is down, FURIA falls as well. The problem with rotating back to A is you really are just confined to a save that isn't even guaranteed with Art's Mac 10 nearby.
Man, Art just toying with them. An SMG that looked to lead the way and actually serving as a lurk. It's Elish that's done a lot of damage on the initial cross to the bomb site, but ends up empty-handed frag-wise. Just the fact that it was Art on the nameplate, getting that kill towards short. That A ramp, but not a lot showing there for FURIA. It's instead this mid-play. Cello gunned down just before that smoke bloomed, but blissfully unaware. Art had crept further forward than Elish was anticipating. Fallen still probing with this AWP. JT floored. And he was that first port of call on the hold. Holzerk sat inside of a smoke, and this doesn't feel the healthiest. Yuri is watching for this exact play. He had him locked in. That's a free kill for FURIA. On so many different events, but aren't always able to collect themselves to actually win and lift trophies.
Floppy rotates back. Grim, an annoying angle for sure, but he's only good for one. No, take that back. Two found and he stays alive. Felt like Keserato was set up for a trade, but Fallen, after finding Floppy, loses his head, still somehow has his body.
Yeah, it took a lot. First smoke down, but getting past Crane, that's what JT has an angle on.
Fantastic kill found. Art down, Fallen now, that pre-aim. And you mentioned, doesn't really come into play either. Molotov won't stop Yuri from getting the initial peak, and JT is down. 10 seconds on the clock. Fallen needs to try and cover off. The nade from Elish will not finish him. But Fallen now might just end up dying after time. There's 3 seconds left, and he's just trying to hug the smoke. Inside, he lies in wait, and Elish will not be able to trace him. No, I take it back again. That's a huge... Get eyes on what he's got in mind, maybe.
Fallen got his hands back on it.
Oh, well.
And that's why.
For good reason, apparently.
He had the hot hand on Overpass.
Elish did as well. So far, yet to continue that absolutely absurd spree of domination that he presented, but maybe this is his chance with Floppy setting up for him to trade, potentially. Keserato, so concerned with the Floppy angle up top of the stairs that he might have gone and missed Elish. Instead has called for the retreat and a regroup. Plenty of time for FURIA to see if Complexity can make a mistake. Complexity, however, with this much utility, have no reason to really aggress through without crossing with some flashes, without getting some mollies out. That's awkward. Don't really blame him for it, but Holzerk right now fully blind, found out Elish. Trades elsewhere on the map. Fallen moves through a Molotov, but Art moves through Grim's skull. And now Floppy meets a flame of his own as the bomb is being planted. Art will continue to aggress forward. Will Floppy push through the smoke? Yes, he will. Waits for the flashbang. That's what they needed. And now 2 versus 1. Fallen to defend, but the elevated angle is taken by Elish. Fallen does not notice in time.
Aggression, or with aggression rather, on both sides of the map.
I have to say, I really appreciate it. No, hold the point. It's so much blood being spilled right at ramp, and this is where FURIA pulling out that fully aggressive maneuver. Is Complexity just going to turn back and save?
It's a lower buy.
They have enough util to try and make a go of it. They won't be there in time to try and deny the plan from actually happening unless FURIA do this. They've delayed. Had delayed long enough that if Floppy wanted to accelerate a little bit, those nades could have come through. But Cello, he's left with 1 HP and that's gone.
Going for that 1-for-1 when they actually sort of bombarded Cello out of the round. One that may have been tailored for the engagement. In fact, the fact that it's re-smoked in much a similar way, this time a little bit deeper here from Complexity, just makes things a little bit weird on the take.
In the meanwhile, JT is also pushing forward all the way through. He's got bridge control so they can call rotations over. The commitment from Art gives them the frag. The way Leech is down, Floppy still yet to be traced through the smoke. And Cello takes the elevated angle with the flashbang. He hoped to take the fight as well, but Floppy dodges long enough to get one. JT pushes forward. How has Yuri dropped the ball on that? Still, Complexity are walking into what looks like a certain death trap. If JT wants to contest this, he needs the instant headshot and he won't even get a chance to pull the trigger.
Timing was great there for Art. Holzerk does get one back from White. Fallen dropped, but a player sat quad and just waiting for the right time to strike. K Serrano just holding a line, even with all that utility sailing out from stairs. They don't play together. Can they upset FURIA here? Just a little jiggle, and Elish hard cleared by Cello, and they know they wounded up this extra player in Grim right behind. That weapon was recovered for just a moment, and all JT had was a USP. They needed it. You know, the fact that there were so many round timeouts for FURIA, and sometimes those rounds, it just came down to losing members as they were crossing into the bomb site and just called it quits. Nice timing for Floppy on this flank, but that weapon is looking mighty irretrievable. Chance of it cascading out of control, all on Holzerk. First kill found, and a second as well. Fallen falls, K Serrano also hits the deck. Holzerk has pulled this round out of the hat. Art is just trying to punch in those digits and hopes that Holzerk makes a mistake, but it's 4 clean headshots on this Dig. Holzerk is not to be messed with.
They needed a hero, and the man with the mullet will deliver.
But after all that forward pressure over at B, they peeled back. K Serrano hunting, and a headshot offered up. Floppy dealt with. And there will be no bomb site, so he's a late lurk. Someone that they can maybe rely on before, just as Complexity are setting up for all of this utility. Elige, the flash, it catches him, but Art can still activate. Fallen chewing them up from the front, and Art stabbing them in from behind, but Elige spinning all 360, but it's just too much to handle. FURIA, another dominant round.
They picked themselves up immediately. Holzerk, good early kill. An advantage found, but Yuri begins a journey through the smoke.
Oh dear.
To try and flank out 2 unsuspecting CTs. They have no idea. They don't know at all. Yuri goes back instead, but they're losing members. Yuri's flank might not be relevant at this stage. CTs have no idea, but with an advantage like this, even if Yuri gets 1 kill, that doesn't guarantee the round. There's 3 players back to B. Holzerk's got mid covered off. That seems to be the naturally assumed kill. Yuri to find, Yuri to evade, Yuri to move past. There's 1, there's 2, it's found. Grim turns around in time, head on a swivel, and he's got the frag. Elige picks it up as well, and where there was death's door beckoning, K Serrano is the only one to now try and deliver. Even he can only find 2 frags before FURIA. Deep Molotov to prevent any sort of second wave that they are planning on throwing. Despite the lower buy, FURIA continue to try and play out a little bit more slowly. Double util pieces going forward. Cello still hidden away. Yuri in the meanwhile loses his life, but Cello's Tech 9 is yet to reveal it. Should get one for free, indeed it does. There goes Grim. They weren't expecting a player to already be passed, and now Floppy is down as well, but Elige is flanked. That's all they're depending on. Elige needs to get everything here. Has had a player move past him, the Mac 10 behind. Elige can't adjust, but they're not ready for JT as well. A 2-on-2 as the bomb is planted. JT, a deep flash to try and let Holzerk move in, but the AWP can't take first point. Not against the Tech 9 of Cello. Again, playing that forward angle. Quesarado holding JT off, but JT is getting worried. Complexity need to commit. They don't have the time. They don't have the space. Holzerk is the only one with the kit. JT accelerates forward. Quesarado spots him out. Quesarado is just playing it with patience, but his patience runs thin. Quesarado is low, has to hold on, but he can't do so. JT, no kit, no time. It'll be right down to the nick of it. Complexity, fighting, praying, hoping for a 5th, but the time will deny, perhaps right at the nick of it. JT, prayers answered. The South African. He was Elige's right-hand man in the first as well. Good to see that that form hasn't dipped down, but Complexity still on this T side feel like they need a bit of a showing. And it's a good start for Elige.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he got 3 kills on the pistol on overpass on T side as well.
That trusty P250.
And they were clean. No assembled boost, no reaction here from FURIA as of yet.
Smoke down behind Art, but he's already moved past it. He doesn't care. Once they continue pressing through in ramp, he knows that they're going to have to try and isolate this duel, but Art fights right back. Another player around the corner. They don't swing him properly, not in time. Art's aim cannot be denied, and the bomb is in the back lines. Elige, despite the 2 frags that he has found. FURIA have read this perfectly. Elige, bomb now out. Aren't committed to. Cello's not peeking. They are afraid, and they have every right to be. They should be when it's Elige on the other side. Fallen takes the first peek. Elige cleaning it all up, setting up for the ace. Fallen around the corner, and as he tries to dance with death, Elige is left with no HP, and still Fallen cannot punish. It all comes down to this. Complexity behind their leader, hoping, praying, and Fallen with a recovered kit inside the smoke does tap away, but Elige will not bite. Elige will not do so. Fallen still will be able to get this round despite every effort of Elige. JT looking for the first, but Quesarado evades fire, re-peeks back out over. A nade as well. Is there flashes? Is there help? Is there anything? No. His help is down, and Quesarado can only trade it. Now left on a reload inside the flames. He should be falling, and indeed he does. Art will not
better
be
gun to recover and save. Complexity with a faster attack on that B bomb site. We saw FURIA get away with having this initial...
Oh my god!
Ay.
That's a disaster. FURIA do seem a little bit lost after not having to be able to make that boost work. Shell around the corner is gone. JT continues to spam through. The spray unable to find the second, and Yuri is here to recover that frag. With Art and Yuri the only ones standing. And nade to blow open the smoke as well. Tricky start for Elige, but it's a cleanup round from Complexity regardless.
Yeah, nicely handled. Using the utility as well. Even though things get a little precarious, they screw their heads on straight to make sure that FURIA don't get away with murder on that initial short hold. Nice kill from Art though. Elige trying to escape because the bomb would have certainly done him in if he'd simply stayed. And that's a rifle.
Inclined. He'll keep his feet planted firmly on the floor.
Elige crept past that short smoke as well and realizes that there's nobody playing forward here on FURIA, but it's a different port of the attack. Art challenging in from Crane, but there's more where that came from FURIA.
JT's able to recover the spray fast enough to shut Art down. Yuri, however, there's that second prong you're hoping to see, but the flash is too good, and Elige is the same. Holzer can trade when his leader finally falls. And now 4 versus 2, Holzerk only had to keep himself alive. In the meanwhile, the B site is where Kesarado is found out again. Just not able to find that impact.
Couple of flashes available here for Cello. That smoke faded, and he's dealt with JT. That was the lowest man. Each of the first players that should contact are on that low health. A tap on the bomb, Grim will face, and that's an easy frag for Cello. And it all comes down to Floppy to make sure that Cello can't pull this all together, but it's not a prime position to really combat this. And Floppy had to take a wide angle face. He doesn't fall foul to Cello simply sticking it. This is a key clutch. This time, Complexity, close it.
Elish and Holzerk have taken a significant amount of damage, and Art is here to finish them off as well. Potentially, Elish too will fall. And now would be the time for Kesarado's Deagle to shine. Kesarado needs to have a round here. Floppy's already low, and as the flash flies through, Kesarado ends up blind as well. JT trying to fight back, but Fallen now getting involved. This is it, Complexity. This is the round you go back to every single night. Complexity are fortunate to have a bye, but their mental must be shaken at this point. Art is still getting aggressive. Elish, can he find him? Elish turns around. Art has the advantage. And now Art just maintains with the spray. There is nothing they can do to get past this man. 24 kills, 13 deaths.
Cello tanking a nade. I don't know that a sound cue was given over to Floppy. He seems a little hesitant to commit to the idea that there is somebody still committed in this position. Cello still yet to reveal his plan. This should be a Furia round so long as Cello finds this kill.
Oh, the patience as well. Cello knows that all he has to do is force Floppy to show his hand. And from here, it's his teammates' job. Floppy. No choice but to go for it. The attempt has to be made. Kesarado can try and commit to a flank later on if they allow the bomb plant in. And that should be the call. Don't contest him too hard. Art is low. Flash overhead will not matter. Fallen gives Floppy the space to potentially move away, and Floppy's hurt Fallen. And first duel could be taken. In the meanwhile, they wait for Kesarado to commit. In through ramp he goes. He's now watching out for that dark peak to come through, and at the smoke down, Fallen can't cover. Art on the smoke. The nade should finish him off, and indeed it does, but Fallen, position revealed will not matter. Fantastic shot to take them down, and it is all Art they have to thank for that round.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't have kits as well, but Floppy doing a great job of reading that situation as well. How do you...
The game Art's been having, he has to keep himself alive over here, and as he's jumping up and down, Elish finds him again. The duel between the two seems to decide the fate of a round, and if history is anything to go by, unless Yuri gives us a multi-kill, it might be difficult, and Yuri caught on his teammate as he tries to retreat. Fallen as well in the open, worried about a full swing through. One that will never come. They had to clear out sandbags first, and Fallen holds off an angle. Close range gets the kill. JT down, and Floppy joins him. Advantage regained, but Holzerk will trade. Holzerk and Grim now trying to get the bomb down. One that is not even attempted. Kesarado's rotation to come through from ramp, and in the meanwhile, is anyone taking care of it? Grim nestled away, now aware, and Kesarado brings him low, but Holzerk now wants to swing out. Kesarado meets them both. You can put him down, but he won't stay there. That gave the audio cue. They should know that there's two players as well. Cello fully blinded, but Kesarado is the same. He still gets two. Kesarado's picked things all the way back up. Complexity. They feel their life leaving their bodies. Grim in an impossible 1v4. He's just saving the off.
AWP said money was going to dry up, and it certainly has for Complexity.
The play to be made, Elish and JT will be made to fear him. With his position revealed, but Yuri's the point man again. Yuri's putting up numbers, but Elish and Floppy are the ones finding frag. Holzerk's Molotov still equalizes, not in the way they wanted it to. Complexity. With the AWP of Holzerk, unable to find anything, still remaining uncontested. This Molotov from Fallen is everything. It's going to give them so much more space, but it's missed. It's gone inside the smoke. The bomb can be planted. And in the meanwhile, Cello is just revealing position. They're trying to close distance. The 5-7 finds nothing. Elige, low. Boxed into a corner of sandbags. No flashes from Furia's side. They cannot push Holzerk away, so the smoke is all they have to rely on. But as they continue to delay, as they continue to wait, Holzerk will close the distance to them. He wants to combat Optus out, and Elige is here to continue to prevail, to continue to perform. Holzerk misses the no-scope close range. Grim is still knifing thin air. Elige takes another down. Complexity are still in it.
But they vacated. Only actually allowing Holzerk to hunt with that ult. But Yuri is still kept around because of that. They don't really know what's coming. Queserado making up for Yuri, going 1-for-1, but it's a trade right back here for Complexity. A man advantage, and the flash good. Art forced to take cover inside of the generators. And just hoping that Yuri can also sweep up, but Art finally found around those gens. And Yuri left in a 1 versus 3. That smoke that's down may provide a little bit of coverage, allow him to escape their watchful eyes. But another smoke that greets him that will buy even more time.
Surely you turn around and go back to save that ult from Fallen. It's on the A-bomb set. It's inviting you. Yuri, however, wants to go for the full commitment, fighting into too many swings. Elige to take him down. 13 for Complexity. Now they don't even buy an AWP over here, and with how effective Fallen's been, that's important. JT, however, can't finish off Art. Rather, he can't finish off Yuri. Cello lies in wait, an angle that's very difficult to clear, and as Grim moves forward, Cello's already! He had gotten himself off the angle in case Cerrado in the meanwhile can't deal with too many positions. Yuri as well will fall.
They can't keep doing it. They just keep attacking this B play. But Art coming in on the backstab, finding Floppy, and Elige already low, but Holzerk's found Fallen, and the nade will finish Art off. We go straight into this overtime.
Supposed to be the iconic cross-continental rivalry, but for now, Complexity seem to have the bigger man and the bigger monster. 1-for-1 trade to start things off, but as Art closes the distance, JT around the corner is asking for death, and Art is happy to deliver, but he's lost his teammates and he's lost his advantage. Ground conceded, and Complexity look to start riding 15 on the top of the scoreboard. Fallen to go down. And where Furia had every advantage, instead Cello will roast to death. Complexity have 3 opportunities to close out this comeback. Look at what is in front of you. It is greatness consolidated into a single man. Cello to experience it firsthand.
He is doing his damnedest to make sure Complexity do not go out a measly 2-0. They've got a nice high-low setup as well, built for mid, and Art trying to pick it apart, but he found Floppy, the instant headshot, the quick tap, and then Elige was here too, so it's Art and Queserado to break down what was a very strong mid setup there for Complexity. They don't want to be resource-starved, maybe the same way that Furia were for their final round of that first half of the overtime, but JT's still giving it a gander, seeing what he might be able to find around those smokes.
They've decided to go in for it.
Yeah, they
want to
are.
go for the full retake. Queserado should be able to cover this off as well. Continues to deliver in overtime. Queserado, another big double. Has been somewhat missing at times, but Holzerk with 10 seconds is really hoping to find the bomb planter. He might have done it. Yuri goes down, and as they're just trying to zone in, Fallen had to cover, and he delivers. Holzerk looking to peek in. He's got that one. Makes it look like it's free, but needs to be careful not to just cross over in front of Grim's aim. That would be disastrous. Grim still trying to play bodyguard. If Cello moves through, he knows there's going to be an AWP on the other side to greet him. Meanwhile, JT, he's gone. And with that, the A site as well penetrated.
It was slow working. But they've got some space now. Grim, down the ladder he goes. And Cello was caught between watching B and watching that ladder drop, but Grim couldn't quite find that head fast enough. Man up here for FURIA. Nice that Cello kept his head on a swivel, but once again, there's all this utility down, but FURIA not rushing, not looking to get that plant in swiftly.
And with the smoke now covering off KSCERATO, he's not really going to be able to add anything to this overall debate on the A side. Complexity, find a quick pick through that very same smoke. KSCERATO is down, the bomb on the ground. With 30 seconds left now, a boost could be big. They decide not to assemble it. Worried about Fallen, expecting that very same boost, and now Holzerk will just watch the cross with the delay they found earlier on. The smoke is finished. Cello can't move. And he needs to. He needs to get out of the way as Fallen has missed his shot and the opportunity is lost. Complexity on the verge of delivering. Only Yuri left, and as he's found one, denies the plant, keeps it going, but Holzerk's defused. Complexity will even. 16-13, we're going to nuke.
It begins and ends on nuke.
And it begins with JT's head being popped like a pimple. KSCERATO finds that early. Good to see him performing. He had a slightly weaker vertigo despite being able to reinforce quite a few important rounds. And now this crossfire in ramp has been broken apart. The head of Cello is feeling a little bit lighter with a bullet having gone right through it. Art now to try and hold down the line. KSCERATO's rotation will be helping him as well. Fantastic adjustment. Art is looking like he's still coming in with the same form that he showed in Vertigo. Hopefully we can see a similar performance here as well. Bomb being planted, shots being evaded. Grim, however, does just stay alive. 2 versus 4, Grim and Elige. Elige starts off strong, but Grim's been taken down. In the meanwhile, Elige barely has any HP to work with, but at the same time, FURIA's not looking particularly hot either. Unfortunately, Elige just isn't looking. Cello, straight down. He is among the vertically inclined, and in the meanwhile, Elige is put down horizontal. Cello, will he be cleared out initially? Holzerk's demise means that Grim has to accelerate, doesn't really consider the idea of a complete vertical peak. JT, the only one to break anyone so far. And unlike before, Complexity are not going to find anything on this force by Floppy, even seemingly caught off guard.
Yeah, I mean, Cello just jumping around as well with that SMG. Will be happy that there was an AK on the other side of things.
He's overperformed, in fact, and now he needs someone else to contribute to the group project, but Elige, that first submission was there. Unfortunately, he's quickly traded out. Yuri, prolific on outside now, is just hoping to contain JT down under so he can't come through late. KSCERATO on the jump up connects, but he's traded as well. Grim gets it going, the quick double, and now into the A site they go. Yuri contained, Fallen the only one who could contribute, but the nade's going to be late. Grim could still fall to it. No, avoids it again. And now Fallen might even struggle to retreat. JT has no reason to give him the peek, and as the shoulder is quickly thrust out, Fallen double scope forward, who needs to catch the skill. JT doesn't want any of that.
Oh, I mean, JT's done such a good job just by keeping himself alive for as long as he did.
Oh my
He was
God.
buying time, and Holzerk was securing space in through hell as well. So no saved weapons here for FURIA. Complexity on their full buy, breakthrough. FURIA do still have an AWP. Art once again, this SMG merchant. Looking to make a case, but
Ooh.
nice boost. Art were trying to play the crack angle, but Holzerk prepared for it. And a slightly different angle than Art would have anticipated, so they get access to ramp. That is your least valuable weapon. And Fallen answering back with his AWP of his own. Both extremities pressured by the big greens. The Complexity are going to start to send it down towards lower. There is reinforcements here. Fallen right by KSCERATO. Cello at those decon doors as well.
KSCERATO steps up, 2 big frags, and again, the double kills right when they're needed the most. Holzerk and Elige in a 2 versus 4 despite the early opener.
And bomb as well.
They can't do anything about it. That first kill from Holzerk looks so clean, but it all falls apart after. But the same can be said for Vertigo. All we can hope for is a close nuke, and Yuri doesn't want that at all. Yuri wants to press the issue, and the issue is his life. It's finished, it's over, but will they expect a second? Surely not. Art ducked away. It's a classic from Art, but as Holzer gets up on top of the red box, he will fall. JT is here to trade. And with that,
Floppy. Grim actually creeping his way all the way out through door, but between the two of them, they've been able to take the A bomb site. There it's left vacant, but they finally deal with JT outside. It's back into a 3-on-3, but Complexity get that bomb punched in.
Nate also doesn't really do anything to Grim, so he's okay with this, but double push out from heaven.
FURIA have a lot of utility.
They'll have to use all of it to try and displace Grim from this position. He's the primary risk that they have to take care of. Grim instead actually ends up backing further behind into the site. He's still alive. Queserado's double keeps him in the round, and now it's all him and Elige. Can't quite get the silent drop down, but he's still committing to the defuse. Elige rounds the corner long enough that Queserado's pushed off of it, and now Elige swings out. Queserado prevented. Elige prevails.
From Yuri, that could have been a man advantage. But now access towards Secret granted, and Art is going to be that first line of defense, but he's pulled away. The fact that Fallen has cold distraction, Art's starting to creep back up those vents, but there's players down lower here for Complexity.
The bomb plant should come through, it'll be free. No one here to contend. And meanwhile, Holzer covers off. The vent is completely blocked. 3 players are trying to walk down, and 1 is already dead. The second to follow. There's no way for FURIA to get into this bomb site.
To help his teammates on an A-side defense cost them here.
And I think the thing is that Yuri didn't actually realize there were 2 different players he tried to find, JT as well, because Elige hadn't fired off a bullet. So they really reminds me of those B-side angles he used to hold on Drain, but right now he's losing members. Queserado gone. He's been contended largely by Floppy more often than not.
They just insert a late lurk on Floppy. And they want to reset and attack this A bomb site, but Yuri finding Elige on the lurk, JT to trade, but Cello at the back of the site, still alive and kicking, trying to keep himself afloat. Players coming up those vents, and Fallen's there to reinforce, but they didn't realize that Hell was an access point. It's Floppy left in a clutch, a 1-on-3 that's chewed down to 2, but he tries to tap, he forces Fallen forward, and it's Art that remains on this MP9, but he doesn't know where he's coming from, but he outguns him. Art caught him off guard, but Floppy had the health to trade. Floppy, a big round for Complexity.
Maybe 2,400?
Yeah, they were on second stage, so...
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Paid for itself at the very least. Art. Anything more beyond it will be bonus, so...
And they're sent the other way, so...
You know what?
Yeah, this has had some value.
It's not insignificant. The CTs, but at least there's 1. Art. Art is got his paintbrush on him, and Holzer is gone, not expecting, and Grim not ready.
Art was the man you looked to on Vertigo, and now he takes a risk, a gamble, and Complexity lower their guard. Dropping into main is Elige, but he falls into the waiting arms of Yuri. Complexity get chewed up and spit out in this round.
And the worst way is that there's so much time to deliberate on it as well. In the 2v5, Floppy can't find the instant kill. Given a lot of map control, given a lot of ground, but they're okay with conceding that at this point.
Art's already got backup as well towards lower. They've not cheated over heavy rotations here on FURIA. So if they're able to somehow mitigate Fallen, that would be their access point, but Art starts to play close, and they bait JT in. Once again, calling Floppy. They need him to clutch. They've brought it certainly close. 5 could be enough on T, but a 6 would go a long way. Yuri just toying with him. Door open, door closed, but there's a door right behind him that is fully open, and he's not planted that bomb as of yet. A 1-on-4, too much to ask, and FURIA close their CT with 7.
The plan is simple. Go try and find Holzerk, but JT's there to cover off JT with the double beheader. And Holzerk's over here to try and follow through as well. Elige, backup on backup on backup. Holzerk yet to commit. When he finally does, he'll find Art. A scout more important than most, especially in this series, and with Yuri's demise. Elige wants to take a peek. A flash would be great to try and help him do just that, but he's lost his teammates and his life in the meanwhile. What looked to be a great setup for Complexity to try and punish the drain down secret just ends up being FURIA taking over.
I mean, if you're able to get 3 synchronous frags, in an instant, you couldn't ask for really more out of a T side, and Floppy just turned the wrong way. They still had players left on lurks to punish these remaining Complexity players. The round was already done. I mean, the net is just so widespread that there's basically nothing you can do. Kesarada even playing with his food.
Holzerk able to fade away as well. Very, very important though that they realize it.
FURIA are fine with.
Holzerk needs another one, and shot's been missed. That's clip Art through the edge of the wall, but that's not good enough. JT needs to finish it off, and Art is deadly. We already know that. Grim hoping to be overlooked. At least one should be free, but even that's being flustered and floundered. Kesarada finally taken down as well. And where both remaining players on the T side are low, Holzerk and Grim are hardly feeling too healthy either. Holzerk knows where Art is, covers it off as well, all down to Fallen. The 1-on-2, AK in hand, Op abandoned on the floor elsewhere, and Fallen needs to take the fight to them. If Grim is allowed in nearby, well, he's gone! Straight to the head it goes, and he knows that Holzerk is rotating in from ramp. Holzerk, Hearts goes forward to meet his death. Fallen will still get it done. He will still destroy your dreams.
Coming into this America's RMR, maybe FURIA even looked vulnerable. But they are not putting a foot wrong here. Transitioning into T side, they have not been caught by these lower buys.
JT once again delivering in ramp, but it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You could get 4 kills right now and it wouldn't matter. Not for another 2-3 rounds, and by that point it might be too late.
I mean, if you killed all 4 and defused the bomb, that part would matter.
I meant 4 out of 5, but yes. Well, technically, if you get all 5 kills, that does feel like it'll matter. So yes, that is true.
Having an AK on CT side could certainly have its influence as well.
You'd hope so.
Grim has gotten his hands on it.
Whether he's able to maintain it is a different question. Yeah, Fallen is going to be able to catch him as he tries to rotate back, and with his HP where it was, well... Deep scope in, but again, not the frag. Once more, Yuri left on 19. Last time it was Art, and Fallen's found Elige in the meanwhile. Desperation is dripping off of Complexity as they realize there are 3 men left. And those 3, not for long, perhaps. No, Fallen down and out. Grim's able to evade capture.
He's still with that man down, but they have no lower player. Floppy's starting to hazard a glance.
Two men left in Complexity. They've begged, they've prayed, they've scrapped for survival. But truly, it feels like FURIA is inevitable. The fire of FURIA continues forward, and Floppy, the only one to interrupt and punish. Cello could still be caught out, but Holzerk doesn't quite get the timing, and Kesarada can find his. Floppy had a clutch already, but 2? Now where they might be expecting him as well. Kesarada turns and FURIA move on. Copenhagen awaits FURIA once again. Qualify completely untouched.